Esper control. Mono Black has a lot of tools that are tough for Esper to deal with. The discard, Whip is a card that makes removal a little worse. The fact that, hey, I removed your guy, but you just get him back. The way to go over the top with something like Grey Merchant of Asphodel, just once it resolves, you win. But we're underway here, and Gerry begins with a turn 2 Pack Rat.
You see, Jason, he was the winner last weekend at the Seattle Legacy Open, and his deck in the Legacy featured a lot of fantastic altars and extended art cards, so it's not surprising for us to see his Hallowed Fountain and Godless Shrine there with some extended art.
Was it in Seattle, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago in Milwaukee?
It could have been Milwaukee. I have
Just
been everywhere recently.
Some convention center somewhere.
Somewhere, some guy. I was there. He was there.
So Pack Rat connects, and Gerry's going to make another Pack Rat here at the end of Jason's third turn after Jason plays a Scryland. And Gerry now with 2 rats. We will upgrade that die into a rat.
Oh.
There we go.
That's not a Pack Rat token.
No, it's just a rat token, but it's better. It's more indicative than just the 6-sided die. So 4th land from Gerry, and double Pack Rat gets in for another 4. Now, in our last game, Reed Duke's opponent played a turn 2 Pack Rat and then just rode the Pack Rat to victory. That was the only spell cast in the game by his opponent.
In an Esper mirror match.
Again, it was an Esper mirror match. Now this
is one of the answers.
Yes, one answer that you can find if you're the Esper deck is Detention Sphere. And this will handle all of the Pack Rats because those are not just rat tokens, right?
The interesting thing here is in response to, in response to the trigger of Detention Sphere, Gerry can use one of his removal spells. You see a Hero's Downfall, and it is a targeted ability. So you remove the target, and the ability is countered even though there are other Pack Rats.
So there are ways for the Mono Black deck to counter a Detention Sphere, is kind of what you're saying. So that token there is a copy of Pack Rat.
Yeah, so really from Esper control, unless you can get to the Pack Rats early, Supreme Verdict is one of your only true answers, because Gerry Thompson's deck is full of these removal spells that he has nothing to do with for the time being, and he would be happy to just trade them off that way for a Detention Sphere, essentially.
So either way, Gerry is able to play an actual Pack Rat replacement with Pack Rat from his hand. And so we are back to 2 rats on Gerry's side of the board. Meanwhile, Jason has landed Blood Baron of Vizkopa.
That's a good answer.
It's good. We've seen already that Gerry has at least 1 Devour Flesh in his deck. In fact, he's got 3. So Devour Flesh, a very good answer to Blood Baron out of the Mono Black Devotion deck. So we'll see. Gerry may be regretting pitching that Devour Flesh so early to make that first rat. His hand appears to be Desecration Demon and potentially another Pack Rat. Yes, it is. It is a 3rd Pack Rat.
So this is something, last weekend in Louisville, most people were running 2 Pack Rats, and now they've gone up to 3. The card is that powerful that they have 3 in the main deck, and usually the 4th one is in the sideboard.
That appears to be the case for Gerry. All right, so Jason untaps. Looks like he's got a 4-mana Planeswalker. That is Jace, Architect of Thought. Altered quite a bit there. He ticks up, and Gerry takes the opportunity to make another rat. He's got 4 4/4s right now.
And with the ability to make a 5th one, he can attack into that Blood Baron now. And Mutavault is also a rat.
It is a rat.
So Pack Rat does not just count number of Pack Rats, it counts all rats.
Exactly.
So now we've got 5/5 Pack Rats and a 2/2 Mutavault attacking in. And he's going to pitch and make another, so that's 6s, that's 18, 20.
So we've got Jace's trigger, right? So we've got the, they're all 5 power at this point.
So that'd be 15, 16 getting through, minus the 4 lifelink. So that's going to kill him. Yep, got to do some quick math there.
Yeah.
Adding up the Pack Rats and the lifelink from the Blood Baron of Vizkopa, but that was lethal by 2.
Yeah, and as you see, the last game, Pack Rat takes over. This game, Pack Rat takes over.
This is
really.
familiar to me. I played a lot of Return to Ravnica Limited, and a turn 2 pack rat is just so devastating.
It only took 13 months for somebody
To try it in
start
Standard.
playing with it in standard, and wow, what a high impact card for 2 mana.
That was the only. Well, he played some other spells.
He did kill one of his own rats with a hero's
He
downfall.
killed his own creature to get around the detention sphere,
Yeah.
and he actually cast additional pack rats, so saving himself some mana
Right.
instead of discarding. So he was able to cast a pack rat and also discard.
Yeah, because I guess one thing is Azorius Charm could deal with a token, and you wouldn't get it back. Azorius Charm on an actual pack rat, you redraw it. So maybe having actual pack rats on board isn't bad against a deck that has the possibility of something like Azorius Charm.
Maybe if it's your last one, certainly, but I imagine.
Yeah,
you
well,
have 2
at
or
one
3
point
pack rats.
it was his last one at that one
Yeah.
point after Hero's downfall. But still, he drew 3 pack rats, all 3 pack rats. Going to the sideboard now, Jason does have a card that is pretty good against. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Ratchet Bomb.
It's good,
Ratchet Bomb's pretty good.
but you have to get it up to 2.
Right, you need to get it. It's kind of deceptive in that way. You're like, well, they're tokens, right? They have
Yeah.
0, but no, they actually have a converted mana
Normally,
cost of 2.
tokens have a converted mana cost of 0, but because these are copies of pack rat,
Right.
they copy everything, including the mana cost, so they are actually black and 1 cost tokens.
And that, I believe, is one of the things that put them over the top to make an appearance in the Devotion deck, because they count towards Devotion.
Yeah, true.
And so that'll be relevant. But
Now Jerry's deck is not really the full board Devotion deck. He's not playing any Nykthos Shrine to Nyx because he wants to maximize his ability to cast Nightveil Spectre on turn.
It looks like no main deck Whip of Erebos.
Right.
Does he have? He doesn't have Whip at all, it appears.
So foregoing the whip, and it's got 4 Nightveil Spectres and 4 Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So that's your Devotion package right there for this deck. Is the Grey Merchant really as a finisher, and that's where pack rat can come into play. Not as explosive as some other Devotion decks without that Nykthos, but Gerry was saying it's very important to hit Nightveil Spectre on 3, especially against control matchups, and it's so important that he has cut down from 4 Mutavaults to 3, and he's playing 1 copy of Prophetic Prism.
Right. So that the cool thing about that is it adds any color.
Yes.
Right? So it's good to cast Nightveil Spectre, and it's good to cast cards that you've stolen with Nightveil Spectre.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's a card that I saw him sleeving it up and tilted my head for a second and went, oh wow, hadn't really thought about the interaction with Nightveil Spectre.
It's just 1 copy, but this is how Gerry Thompson builds and tweaks builds of decks. It's just kind of like one very, very subtle change at a time that adds up this incremental value. And that's how he plays Magic too. He's a very methodical, slow player who every turn, like, he beats you just a little bit more, it seems like.
And that brain will be on the inside, the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
In just a couple of weeks.
It'll be very interesting to see if he designs cards in the same way that you have an initial reaction to them and they're kind of cool, and then later on you find out, oh, they do something completely different that I wasn't thinking about.
So, game 2 now underway, both players with just land go, but Gerry with the first spell of the game, and it's Pithing Needle. We will find out what that named. Jace, Architect of Thought is the call from Gerry Thompson. Turn 2, Ratchet Bomb from Jason.
Well, I mean, as long as he doesn't have pack rat, it's not going to matter as much.
Nightveil Spectre is the play from Gerry. Ratchet Bomb ticks up.
It's going to take a while.
So Nightveil Spectre, another card that it took a long time to see play. It went from bulk rare to smash hit.
It really
2/3
was.
Hypnotic Spectre-like ability, except instead of stealing a card from their hand, it steals a card from the top of their library and allows you to cast it. So Jason, recognizing the power of that card, he's going to take it down with Hero's Downfall.
I think Nightveil Spectre in some ways it needed Nykthos to take off. Because Nykthos can give you, you get 3 Devotion off of it, and it gives you so much more mana. The ability to actually cast spells from your opponent's deck.
But as you mentioned, Gerry actually foregoes the Nykthos, so
Yeah.
he sees its power already. So Gerry follows up his Night Veil Spectre on turn 3 with a turn 4 Underworld Connections. So that's another card that's going to allow Gerry to just outdraw the blue control deck. Jason decides to burst or crack or blow up his Ratchet Bomb to deal with the Pithing Needle on the other side of the table and plays Jace Architect of Thought, ticking it up to 5 counters.
And then we saw him play a Temple of Silence and scry 1.
Yes.
Leaving it on top.
Gerry drawing 2 cards off of the Underworld Connections, one at the end of Jason's turn, one at the beginning of his own, and 4 mana Desecration Demon is the play from Gerry Thompson. So we've got Desecration Demon versus Jace Architect of Thought. Both.
That's not a good fight for Jace.
It's not a good fight for Jace.
I mean,
so Jace is going to go ahead and try to find an answer for the Desecration Demon elsewhere, and he finds 2 more Jaces and a Hallowed Fountain. So
that's a good answer. It's
just replacing himself.
Kill my Jace, get another Jace. I mean, he's only going to get one of those Jaces. He's going to get a Jace and a Hallowed Fountain here.
Right. I mean, Gerry could say, I'm not going to give you a land drop. He could say, go ahead and take double Jace.
I would take that every time.
Yeah, it's
because you already have a Jace, so you know you have 4 mana, unless it's a weird situation where you've been wastelanded.
It's interesting because it takes a lot of turns, and that's how Gerry splits it. Yeah.
Oh my
goodness. Taking the double Jace, I like that because it's the second one's already sort of a dead card. I mean, are you going to spend 4 mana repeatedly to cast these Jaces? Right now, they're both sort of dead cards while that other one's on the board. Yes, you can replace your own.
Well,
sure.
I stand corrected, and that is certainly a good point. Gerry could just ignore Jace right here. Desecration Demon's a 6/6, and he might just be trying to go for it. A couple of swings, and then maybe a Gerry Merchant of Asphodel.
Gerry Merchant. I liked Evan Irwin's nickname, Gray Merchant of Kicking Your Asphodel.
Well, this is are we G or PG rated here today?
I don't know. I just said Asphodel.
Oh, okay.
So Mutavault coming in alongside a Desecration Demon after Gerry loses his Underworld connections to a Detention Sphere post Jace Architect of Thought. So Jace Architect of Thought now takes the beats from those creatures, and Gerry's going to follow it up with Erebos.
Oh yeah, the Black God.
The Black God.
God of the Dead here. That is going to shut down life gain, especially Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah. Now that's huge. Right there, you shut down the Sphinx's Revelation, or the life gain half of Sphinx's Revelation. He needs to have, let's see, he's got right now 3 Devotion. Yeah, he's got 3 Devotion right now. So Erebos, not a creature at the moment, but still is indestructible and is a way for Gerry to draw cards.
Yeah, after losing his Underworld connection to the Detention Sphere, the ability is really expensive. Pay 2 life, and you have to pay the mana as well, but if you have nothing better to do, it's fine.
Right.
And really shutting down that life gain is the most important thing in this matchup. You just don't want to let your opponent chain Sphinx's Revelations.
So Erebos looks like trouble. Jason says you get detention.
It's really interesting to me that Jason is just ignoring the Desecration Demon so far. He's cast 2 Detention Spheres, none of them on the Demon.
Wow, so a duress from Gerry Thompson's going to show Jace Architect of Thought, Jace Architect of Thought, Elspeth Sun's Champion, and Aetherling. So Elspeth goes away, Gerry ignoring the Jaces. And it looks like Mutavault and Desecration Demon coming in for 8. Jason going to fall to 12.
Yeah, the Jace, not that relevant just because the Desecration Demon's so big.
Right.
Elspeth, on the other hand, can spit out 3 token creatures, which can stop Demon for up 3 turns.
It could also just straight up -3 and kill the Desecration Demon. So Jace Architect of Thought is going to reveal Sphinx's Revelation, Hero's Downfall, and Far Away. So now Jason's got some answers to the Desecration Demon.
Yeah, and we see the Sphinx's Revelation. Jason had Detention Sphere the Erebos earlier instead of the Demon. I don't think he had a Sphinx's Revelation in hand, but recognizing that at some point he's going to need the Revelation to turn the game back around.
Now this is a much tougher split than the last one, because you don't want your opponent to have any of those cards. It's like, answer to my major threat, answer to my major threat, a card that finds a million answers to my threats. Like, what do I want to give you? I still think maybe, do you split the removal, or do you just split the Revelation away? You don't want to give him removal plus Revelation. I guess you just separate the Revelation out and give him 2 removal spells.
I think that's what it should be. Because the Revelation, you don't want to give your opponent the removal spell plus something to do after the removal spell, which is a spectacular
Right.
effect.
He's going to go ahead and split it.
All right,
yeah, that's all right.
I'm through second guessing Gerry Thompson.
You're 0
this
for 2,
guy.
and I'm 1. I'm 1 for 2.
I said before, Gerry builds these incremental edges, and that could be what he's doing here. We don't know what's in his hand, so we don't know if he has answers to some of these cards.
So
And
Jason goes ahead and wait. That far away goes to the bottom.
yeah, we're gonna correct that real quick.
Yeah, there we go. Looks like we're fixing it. So yeah, Jason decides far away is not as good as Hero's Downfall plus Sphinx's Revelation, and passes the turn. Now he's gonna have to take another hit from that demon though, because he has only 2 mana up. Hero's Downfall not enough.
Yeah, the demon and the Mutavault maybe are gonna come back in here. 8 damage, so
It's good. Yeah, it could knock Jason to 4 if he doesn't have something else to cast here. Now I'm pretty sure his hand is Aetherling, Jace Architect of Thought, Revelation, and Hero's Downfall. So he doesn't have really any answer to Demon Mutavault this turn that he can cast with only 2 mana up. So Gerry.
he should split off the Mutavault here and attack the Jace, right?
It appears that Jerry's going to
Well,
the
I'm
face.
0 for 3. The golden sombrero.
I didn't take a guess on that one. So Lifebane Zombie from Gerry. It's just going to be an unblockable, but it's going to show him.
Yeah, we knew all those cards already.
Right, so it's the 4 that we knew. All right, so Jason now draws off the top. It is a Scryland, blue-black.
Well, it's a significant amount of pressure here, and I suppose that's the reason not to split the Mutavault onto Jace, is following up with a Lifebane Zombie. Now you have 3
creatures
threats
to deal with, yeah. And he finds Revelation, Downfall, land. Jason has the option to take Downfall or Revelation and land. It's a Scryland. So
Right, in this case, I mean, the Downfall is the best card there. We know Jason's hand, so giving him 2 removal spells, he could survive this turn, but instead,
yeah, so that's what he does. He takes the Downfall. He's going to play, looks like, the blue-black Scryland tapped. He's going to scry that to the bottom, whatever it was.
Temple of Deceit.
Deceit, yes. To me, they're just all the Scrylands.
They're
you know?
just Temple of Colors.
Right, Temple.
Okay,
of
so
blue-black.
he's got the 2 Heroes Downfalls. He can kill 2 of these creatures, but take 2 from the Mutavault. So he could just be dead to a Grey Merchant. Yeah, and Gerry's going to force the action and see what's up.
Gerry up a game here in round 6. He's swinging in for
1 downfall.
more than lethal. So Hero's Downfall from Jason will take out Desecration Demon.
2 downfalls.
Second Hero's Downfall will take out the Lifebane Zombie, and he will take 2 from a Mutavault. Fall to 2. Nightveil Spectre, the follow-up from Gerry Thompson. I see Gerry has a Devour Flesh in hand, so not relevant at the moment. But
I think I might have Heroes Downfalled
the Mutavault?
the Mutavault there, because if you leave the Lifebane Zombie and there's a follow-up play like this Nightveil Spectre, at least Supreme Verdict can deal with them both.
That's a good point. Maybe he's worried more. I mean, at this point,
2 and 1 life. Yeah.
Asphodel doesn't make a big difference either. Like
You need the Sphinx's Revelation anyway.
Right. So here comes Nightveil Spectre and Mutavault into the red zone after Jason just plays a land and says go. Looks like we're going to see Revelation
It's for 6.
for 6. So he's going to go up to 8. He's going to lose 5 here.
I mean, the other side of it is if you kill the Lifebane Zombie and leave the Mutavault, you're taking less damage this turn if you just decide you're going to Sphinx's Revelation anyway. So
yeah, I think he's just erring on the side of caution, going with the less damage. All right, so Nightveil Spectre shows us, is that a Watery Grave? It is.
That
an
is.
Altered Watery Grave. And Gerry says, I'll play your land. And I'll follow it up with this Desecration Demon. So Jason very much needs a Supreme Verdict.
yeah, always attack with Nightveil Spectre before playing your land.
Looks like he's got a verdict. Does he have a removal spell for Mutavault?
So if
He also has an Elspeth, which can deal with the demon, but Yeah, he could. He probably. What does he do here? He's got a verdict. Yeah.
Verdict, take a hit from the Mutavault, then Elspeth, make some token
Well,
blockers.
that land's in play, right? And has he not yet played a land? So it looks like he's got 6.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. So he's just gonna go ahead and go verdict, and then Elspeth, make 3 guys. So
Well, if you have it all, Joey.
if you have
if
it
you
all,
10 mana,
right.
why not?
There you see Elspeth, Suns champion. Gerry Thompson now down to 0 non-land permanents. Plays a Night Veil Spectre. He has a Mutavault, but the Mutavault would just be chump blocked by some soldiers. So he declines to attack this turn. Jason at 4. Gerry seems to have him on the ropes, but Jason may have stabilized. He's got an Elspeth in play. He's got 3 soldiers from last turn's activation of Elspeth. He appears to be about to have a Jace. Yes, there is a Jace Architect of Thought.
Jace and Elspeth together.
It's a tag team, and he's going to minus the Jace. He finds land, Ratchet Bomb, Hero's Downfall. Jason says, I'll take the Hero's Downfall, put the Ratchet Bomb and the Godless Shrine on the bottom. Jason with quite a few options. I see his altered cards makes it a little difficult to determine what cards are in his hand, but I think he's got another Detention Sphere.
He's going to cast something here.
Looks like he's going to maybe downfall the Night Veil Spectre.
Well, that's dissolve right there. I think
he does have
right.
a dissolve. He's going to attack here with the soldiers. Mutavault's going to eat 1. 2 soldiers connect. Elspeth makes 3 more. So Jason with 3 untapped soldiers and 2 tapped soldiers. Jason passes back. So Jason with 3 mana up and holding a dissolve. And I think, well, I'm not quite sure what happened. Gerry looks like he maybe scooped him up.
Yeah, either Gerry scooped him up or he
looks
found a Grey Merchant.
Right, that we didn't see. I just saw the Watery Grave passed back across the table and Gerry scoop him. So I didn't know if it was like, but Grey Merchant wouldn't have resolved, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So yeah, Gerry just scoops.
Yeah, saw the writing on the wall. Both Planeswalkers active. No real way to interact with them at that point.
Yeah, you know what happened is Gerry didn't draw Pack Rat early, and that was all she wrote, and that's it. Pack Rat, the only card in the deck that wins games.
Well,
I'm being very sarcastic right now.
You can't just run a Pack Rat deck.
Yeah, you can't. It's not like Relentless
Rats. You can't just have a deck with
they can be
30
described.
rats and 30.
Yeah.
How many would you play? 40 rats and 20 swamps? Probably.
I don't even think I think you could play like 35, 15. I mean, you just need to draw 2 lands or 3 lands. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the thing, though. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought too much about the Relentless Rats deck, so. You can describe the Pack Rats as Relentless, though.
So Gerry Thompson, we saw him. He had boarded in, most certainly, Erebos, God of the Dead, to try to shut down Sphinx's Revelation.
He has 2 mains, so it's possible he didn't bring in the 3rd one. But
see, I'm looking in the wrong columns. I was looking in the spell column, and it's in the creature column. It is a creature. I wrote about this, and I'm writing about it again. There's wacky, let me just say that there are incredibly unintuitive interactions with these gods and whether they are creatures or not.
That's the problem. It's not that they're not able to be grokked, the term I think that Wizards likes to use. It's that they're not intuitively grokked.
There's a very subtle thing when you have 4 devotion and then you cast a god as to whether it enters the battlefield as a creature and
my guess my intuition would be that if you have 4 devotion and cast a god and it resolves, as soon as it enters the battlefield as a creature, I wouldn't think that there's a window.
Right, so it triggers for things that trigger off of creatures entering the battlefield. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
What about imposing sovereign? This is not a trigger. Your opponent's creatures enter the battlefield tapped.
Right, I would still think it would be tapped because it's a creature, right? That's so weird, but I would still think it would enter tapped.
Spoiler, it doesn't. It's not going to be tapped. I will write about it more in depth for my article next week, but it's really the fact that it's a different answer for both of those when it looks like the same thing, is it a creature entering the battlefield or not, is a very confusing thing.
Yeah.
So, back to the action here, Joey.
Players are shuffling. That's
Well,
some
I'm
action.
just.
Yeah, I know.
The action is we're here at the Invitational in Indianapolis,
Yeah.
and this is round number 6,
Yes,
the
it is.
second of the standard rounds. Both these players 4-1.
Sounds like we've got a word from one of the other matches. BBD on a tear is now, 6-0 at this point. So, is he playing Mono Black Devotion? We will find out for you. Yes, he is.
Brian Braun-Duin, the Grand Prix Louisville champion. I heard he just walked from Louisville to Indianapolis this week.
Yeah, I think that's what he did. So we're underway here. Gerry Thompson's going to lead off with a Swamp into a Thoughtseize, and we're going to see Jace, Architect of Thought. We're going to see Ratchet Bomb, Plains, Godless Shrine, Island, and Temple of Silence. So
a lot of lands.
A lot of lands, and Gerry is deciding now between Ratchet Bomb and Jace. Apparently, Jason is on a mulligan to 6, or there's a card off screen. Both players mull to 6. Okay,
so
we've got that for you.
This is going to depend on what his follow-up is. So
Exactly.
Seems to be
Jace
indicating no pack rat.
Yeah, Jace, Architect of Thought, is seized by Gerry. And
Jason draws his card. There's that face-down card, and then plays Temple of Silence Scries. Gerry's got a Ratchet Bomb of his own.
yeah, interesting. And the card off the top for Jason was Elspeth. We know he's got several lands, so it shouldn't take much to get that Elspeth online. Jason just has to survive. And so Jason plays a Ratchet Bomb, and it's the Ratchet Bomb mirror. Gerry is going to tick his up and follow up with a Night Veil Spectre. So Gerry Thompson with Night Veil Spectre and Ratchet Bomb on 1.
So Gerry's Ratchet Bomb, maybe a defense against, detention spheres. If it gets up there, you can hit some Planeswalker with it. But in this case, most likely just going to defend against the other Ratchet Bomb so he can keep his Night Veil Spectre around. He ticks it up to 2. He's going to look at his options, look at his hand before deciding if he wants to blow up the Ratchet Bomb. Maybe he'll even hit with the Spectre and see what he gets off the top of Jason's deck. May affect his decision making.
Certainly. So Gerry's Ratchet Bomb now on 2. Jason did not tick his up. And a duress from Gerry is going to take away that Elspeth, leaving Jason with just 3 lands. So the way is clear for Gerry Thompson at this point. Connects with Night Veil Spectre and steals Sphinx's Revelation.
It's going to be a while before he can cast that card.
I think so. But the fact that he does have Temple of Deceit in the deck. I'm sorry, does he have Temple of Deceit?
Gerry's
he does.
got
Gerry's got
2
copies of Temple of Deceit and a Prophetic Prism. It is possible for him to cast.
May need to get some lands off of Jason's deck next.
Yeah.
So now the Ratchet Bomb does take up to 1.
And a far away is stolen by the Night Veil Spectre, connecting by
so
Gerry Thompson.
Gerry, is he going to let Jason untap? Yeah. 2. So on the third one, sorry, I was thinking it was up to 3.
Right. Jason didn't activate it, I don't think, the first opportunity.
So now we are probably going to see a little bit of a Ratchet Bomb fight, unless Gerry is satisfied with the cards he has and just wants to trade 1 for 1 here with his Night Veil Spectre.
Finds a land. There's a blue land.
Getting there.
For Gerry off of the Night Veil Spectre. He plays it. And he's going to go ahead and looks like he's got a Lifebane Zombie. So we're going to see Jason's hand yet again, and it's Dissolve Ratchet Bomb. Alongside of Plains.
It chooses. Why did we?
Yeah, that was odd. It was Jason showed us his hand, but then he dissolved the Lifebane Zombie.
Yeah, I thought it was resolving there.
I thought so as well. So Jason, I think, feeling under quite a bit of pressure at this point. Night Veil Spectre doing a lot of damage. Jason not drawing very well, but
he scried with Dissolve and left it on top. Now we're going to see Jason probably tick up the Ratchet Bomb to 3, and Gerry is most likely going to blow it up.
So yeah, that's the...
He definitely would have blown it up if the Lifebane Zombie resolved, but now he's thinking about whether a 1-for-1 trade is fine. No, he wants to keep his Night Veil Spectre around.
Yeah.
He is excited. He wants to cast that Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, I think that's
This is like the dream of every Night Veil Spectre player.
Gerry Thompson.
Especially if you're mono black.
I mean, he doesn't have many more opportunities to have this happen, so... Gerry Thompson going to Wizards after this weekend, so he's going to need to make it happen quick. Ratchet Bomb is the play from Jason. And yeah,
Temple of Deceit.
so
We're inching closer, my
Yeah.
friends.
and it looks like
Okay, so
there
Jason.
was a Hero's Downfall in there. Okay, Hero's Downfall from Jason will take out the Spectre and deal with the prospective Sphinx's Revelation that was coming.
Yeah, what happened was Gerry used the Foreign away to bounce his Nightfell Spectre to his hand.
Ah, yeah. There
No
we
other
go.
threats in his hand, so he needs to bounce that Spectre and then replay it. He does lose the ability to play the Sphinx's Revelation because it was exiled by a previous iteration of Nightfell Spectre.
Yeah, but what he does
But-
do is protect that Spectre.
Yeah.
And
And we can keep trying.
Spectre finds
Blood
Blood Baron
Baron.
of Vizkopa.
Can't cast that. He's got Temple of Deceit instead of Temple of Silence.
Yeah.
Some players you see playing a mix of temples to
Right.
give them more options off of Nightfell Spectre. Gerry Thompson only running 2 copies of Temple of Deceit.
So meantime, Jason's been ticking up that Ratchet Bomb. It is currently on 2. Jason is going to pass the turn here. Gerry going to connect again with the Spectre. Jason's going to fall to 10. And Gerry is going
If
to
it's
get
a white
let's see,
source,
It is a
no.
Supreme
Supreme
Verdict.
Verdict.
and a duress from Gerry Thompson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jason says, you can't have my Sphinx's Revelation, but you can have the best of the top 4 cards.
Yeah.
And it
Is
looks
it-
like it's all lands.
Wow.
So, yeah, he
Not bad for
whiffs
Jason.
on the duress, but
Yeah.
not bad for Gerry either. Because if your opponent just has 4 lands off the top, you don't have to worry too much. Ratchet Bomb's going to tick up to 3, and Jason's now going to be able to deal with that Spectre.
So there go the hopes and dreams of casting that Blood Baron.
Yeah, and off the top was a Jace Architect of Thought. Gerry untaps his opponent's Ratchet Bomb. So, all right, now Jason, the good thing about getting those 4 lands is that they came off the top of the deck. They didn't take Jason 4 turns to draw through them.
Well, he wants every land he can get. We saw
Absolutely.
last game he cast a Supreme Verdict followed by an Elspeth Sun's Champion,
Yeah.
10 mana. And some more lands here.
So Jace,
Plains.
Architect of Thought, finds Plains, Detention Sphere, and Hero's Downfall. Jason's going to take the Plains Hero's Downfall split.
Well, that's
He's going to play a, oh, it looks like he's thinking about it. He's going to play a Temple of Deceit. He's going to look at the top. He's going to bottom that card. I bet you it was a land.
that was interesting that he took the Hero's Downfall there. This Ratchet Bomb is going to deal with the Nightveil Spectre. I think,
Maybe he just wanted Answer plus land rather than just Answer.
but he already had 4 lands off the Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah.
I think Underworld Connections. There you go.
Yeah, there's a good reason to want the Detention Sphere, and that's probably why Gerry split it that way. So Nightveil Spectre falls to the Ratchet Bomb. Gerry then finds an opening to cast and resolve his Underworld Connections. Follows up with the Desecration Demon, and Jason immediately uses Hero's Downfall to deal with it. But Gerry does stick that Underworld Connections, and Ratchet Bomb is no longer on the table, so Jason is going to have to find either a Detention Sphere or another Ratchet Bomb.
this
I
is
believe he's
something
only
I've
got 2.
This is something I've seen from Esper players, is if they use up their Detention Sphere too early, then they are very vulnerable to enchantments.
Yeah.
They have so much creature removal, but Detention Sphere is really one of their few answers to enchantments. You can tick Ratchet Bomb up, but it takes a while.
Yeah, it was and that Underworld Connections may very well win Gerry the game. There you see Hero's Downfall from Gerry. It's going to take out the Jace. And we are left right now with all lands on board with the lone exception of an Underworld Connections. And Gerry's just drawing cards. So that greedy choice from Jason to take the 2 cards over the Detention Sphere may really end up.
Yeah, but the
Costing him
thing
the
is,
game.
Gerry also followed up with the Desecration Demon, which really had to be answered as well.
Sure, but
Now
Jason
he's
already
now
has.
he's drawn another Hero's Downfall.
I think
so
he had 2 already. He had 1, I think, earlier. I'm not sure. It's getting a little hazy there, but Prophetic Prism
possible.
is the play from Gerry. Gets to draw another card, and a Desecration Demon off the top for Gerry.
And the weird thing about the Esper deck is, like I said, not very many good answers to enchantments. The blue-white-red deck can board in Wear and Tear, which is a fantastic answer here.
Yeah.
You could take out, the Needle and the Underworld Connections.
The Pithing Needle apparently has named Elspeth Sun's champion. And a Desecration Demon is the follow-up play from Gerry. Meanwhile, Jason is just land, go, land, go, land, go.
And how many cards has he drawn off that Underworld Connections? 4 now?
Yeah, it's got to be something
5?
upwards of 4 or 5 cards, maybe even more. Because these last few turns haven't been super exciting, so it's been land, go, kind of pass back and forth. So Hero's Downfall will take out the Desecration Demon. And Gerry's follow-up is a Lifebane Zombie. Lifebane Zombie is going to show another Hero's Downfall, a Plains, and a Hallowed Fountain.
So Jaco's downfall may be that he took that Hero's Downfall over Detention Sphere, gonna lose to this enchantment. Too much card advantage. I mean, you see there, Gerry's only got 1 card in hand because he keeps playing everything. He's played multiple things every turn.
Ratchet Bomb for Gerry last turn now ticks up to 1. And Underworld Connection is going to keep Gerry's hand filled. Well, not necessarily filled, but he's going to keep getting him spells to cast. And Lifebane Zombie connects. Jason finds another Detention Sphere. I believe it's a Detention Sphere. Yes. He's going to play Hallowed Fountain, and he's going to pass.
Is it too late, though?
It may be.
I mean, the problem now with Detention Sphere is Gerry's got his Ratchet Bomb ticking up.
Yeah.
And he could have just ticked it up to 3 and then blown it up. So the ship has sailed on Detention Sphere.
I agree. Now Gerry's going to cast a Thoughtseize this turn after connecting with a Lifebane Zombie. Lifebane Zombie actually gets hit with that Hero's Downfall. So Jason's hand is Plains Detention Sphere, and Gerry has the option of casting Thoughtseize here. He should know the 1 Plains is there, so Erebos is the play from Gerry. And he's going to draw a card off Erebos. Gonna pay 2 life, pay 2 mana. Finds... Didn't get a good look. I thought it may have been a Nightveil Spectre. There is a Nightveil Spectre in his hand. And there it is. Yeah, it was a Nightveil Spectre.
Well,
Nightveil Spectre, go.
If he connects with this Nightveil Spectre, he can pretty much cast anything, except, I guess, Elspeth, except anything double white. Gerry's got the Prophetic Prism there to filter mana.
And a Supreme Verdict will deal with the Lifebane Zombie and a Nightveil Spectre.
So Erebos was a creature there, Underworld Connections plus Nightveil Spectre, but indestructible.
Yeah, and there's that Detention Sphere that Jason just drew. Takes out the Erebos. So Gerry Thompson's permanence now, a Ratchet Bomb on 3, which can easily just deal with that Detention Sphere, as you mentioned. A Pithing Needle on Elspeth and a Prophetic Prism. And don't forget that Underworld Connections, which has been fueling Gerry's hand for quite a few turns now. Gerry's going to go ahead and cast a backup Erebos and a Desecration Demon. And he doesn't even care about the Detention Sphere at this point because he had the backup Erebos. So
he
Jason
drew the backup, yeah, so now he can save the Ratchet Bomb to possibly go up higher, maybe take out a Planeswalker at some point.
Yeah, it could take out a Jace.
Or could just leave it on 3 here as a safety if something happens to Erebos.
So Jason's going to read Erebos.
Can't gain life.
Right, it's a 5/7 when Devotion is met.
Shuts down Sphinx's Revelation.
And right now it is devoted, or Devotion to black has been achieved. Erebos
2
is
from
a 5/7.
Desecration Demon, 2 from Underworld Connections, 1 from Erebos itself.
Yes.
Himself? I don't know.
It's
What are? It's
like
a god.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's interesting that the gods fuel their own devotion, right? Like just.
Well, they believe
flavor-wise.
in themselves.
They believe in. Okay, they just believe in themselves.
Sure.
I see. It's like the little engine that could.
You got to start with a little belief
little
in
bit.
yourself to become a god. Then you need 4 other guys.
All right, so Gerry Thompson on the cusp of winning this game. He's got a Thoughtseize, sees Plains. Actually, no, it looks like Jason's actually. I'm sorry, he wasn't showing him Plains. He was just tapping the Plains. He casts Far Away, bounce Erebos, sacrifice another creature. So it looks like Gerry's going to lose his guys.
That's not bad.
For the moment.
Because if you did it the other way, if you tried to bounce the Desecration Demon, then Erebos would turn off because you fuse the spells in the order from left to right. So if you bounce the demon, then there's nothing left to sacrifice.
That's actually extremely relevant, and I hadn't thought about it that way. But yeah.
So while he would like to make Gerry sacrifice Erebos, not really possible there.
So Jason successfully clears the board of threats for the moment. Another Pithing Needle from Gerry, likely naming Jace. And he's going to play a Night Veil Spectre Erebos.
Loading up again.
He names Aetherling, actually, for the second Pithing Needle. So he's got Elspeth on one of the Pithing Needles, Aetherling on the other.
And Gerry Thompson, I just looked up and noticed he's down to 3 life from drawing all these cards.
Yeah, it's Suicide Black.
So not the worst decision to name Aetherling just in case something goes wrong here.
Yeah.
That would be Jason's other way to try to win this game out of nowhere.
What Gerry could do, interestingly here, if he's really scared, he can Devour Flesh his own Erebos and then bust the Ratchet Bomb to get the other Erebos back from the Detention Sphere.
That is a line available to him, but right now the line available is smashing for 7.
Erebos, Night Veil Spectre, connect for 7.
And
steal your Dissolve.
And he has the ability to cast that. He has the he tapped the island. He still has the Prophetic Prism and the Temple of
Yes,
Deceit,
he still
so
technically could cast.
He can cast it. But Gerry perhaps a little carelessly tapping the island there.
And yeah, Jason cannot find an answer on the
Doesn't
top.
matter.
And Gerry Thompson with Mono Black Devotion on the back of gods and specters and demons and all kinds of card advantage off of his connection to the underworld takes down Jason Jaco here in round 6 of